Imagine this. You're a high school sophomore. You just finished your production of Seussical the Musical. You're still in full makeup and you have got a hunch you need to follow your nose to the only place that's prepared to handle a surprise 32-person party at 11 p.m. That's right. You're going to Denny's. Now you and roughly 36 people who you've spent the last 8 weeks convincing yourself are your closest friends are loudly singing in unison about all the thinks you can think to an audience that consists entirely of an indifferent waitstaff. And that's why Denny's can proudly call itself America's Diner. And what's more American than a grand sandwich? Scrambled eggs, sausage, bacon, ham, and American cheese on potato bread grilled with a maple spice spread and served with a side of hash browns? Take me home, country roads. But what if I were to tell you that that's all a lie? These scenes behind me, these aren't from America's Diner. These aren't from an American Denny's. They're from a Canadian Denny's. I mean, yeah, sure, at first they appear to be the same Denny's, but you take a closer look and the cracks start to show. Maybe you notice that the Grand Slamwich doesn't include American cheese in its ingredients list, but Canadian cheese, whatever that is. Maybe actually on your own you've already noticed that the All-American Patty Melt was quietly renamed to the Diner Classic Patty Melt. Meanwhile, in Canada, the all-Canadian Patty Melt has been going strong to this day. Or maybe, just maybe, out of the corner of your eye, you catch a glimpse of the most obvious, downright sinful, un-American menu item of them all, the breakfast poutine! As an American, I think I am entitled to this thing I have no ownership over, and I feel betrayed that a large corporation would appeal to someone who isn't me specifically. They want you to believe that their tagline is America's Diner. But if we take a look at the Twitter bio for Denny's of Canada, at 2, Denny's has let us down. Now we have no choice but to visit each and every diner in the country to crack the code. Join us on our thorough mission as we uncover, diner by diner, pancake by pancake, who truly deserves to hold the title of America's Diner. This search will be conducted by myself and... Liv, did you want to play a character?
No.
It's just I have a whole frazzled detective thing going on, and I thought you were gonna... The search will be conducted by myself and my lovely girlfriend Liv, who originally uncovered Denny's deception and had the idea for this search in the first place. We created a framework for our venture. In order for a diner to truly be America's Diner, it must have a good cup of coffee and a good burger. Additional points will be rewarded for good atmosphere, a good specialty meal, and good old diner hospitality. Brief sidebar. Good old diner hospitality means that either they are very, very sweet, or they are completely indifferent to us. There is no in between. So at every diner we visit, I'll order a coffee and the diner's specialty, and Liv will order a burger. Hats off to Liv, who just realized that she agreed to eat over 8,600 burgers.
Burger!
And with that, let's go! The first diner up in our search will be Mr. D's in LaVerne, California. Mr. D's is a classic 1950s style diner with 2 locations. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day and pride themselves on their generous portions. We started off by testing the camera on the way over.
You turn the ISO down, you turn the aperture up.
Then you put your tongue in your cheek, and that lets you get better lighting.
Yeah. Is the lighting better now?
One more time?
Oh, okay.
I know you're driving, but can I get that one more time?
I'm going to kill us by accident.
I'd like to apologize for any bad lighting in this video. I did not put my tongue in my cheek enough. In retrospect, I should have just taken my eyes off the road and crashed the car. We began our trek down the 210 until we were struck by the most beautiful thing you could possibly see this early in the summer. A sign for Halloween City. The prospect of visiting a Halloween store before September took hold of our minds and immediately steered us off course.
Halloween City!
Halloween City!
Halloween City!
Halloween City in July. What month is it?
It feels like Christmas comes a little earlier every year, and I think it's about time Halloween caught up. In fact, you know what? I think that every single holiday should get a solid 3 months of creep. We should start prepping the grill for the 4th of July on April 1st. So we should start prepping our gas. August if you want, but that's 11 months of creep, and that's too much. Like, 3 is good. Like, okay, if April Fool's Day, what are we doing the last 2 months of the year anyway? Let's just get rid of November and December. Suck it, Caesar Augustus, your calendar's ass! This is the truth they don't want you to hear. They can't stop, no, they can't stop, Liv, they can't silence me! We need to let them know! We need to let them know! They gave me a show! This fucking wild, they just gave you a show if you ask nice. I would like to apologize for my profane outburst. My opinions and actions in no way reflect the feelings of this show or its parent network. Fuck yeah.
Language.
Burlington Coat Factory, there's the Halloween City.
Alas, my dream was no more. Halloween City was not open yet. It just turned out that they were advertising frightfully early. Thankfully, Liv and I are exceptionally focused, we do not get distracted easily, and we were right back on track to... What were we doing?
Popeyes! Chili's! Panda!
They got Mr. Speedy!
Can we get cigarettes?
No, we can't get cigarettes.
Can we get cigarettes?
We cannot get cigarettes.
My husband says that girls don't get cigarettes even as a treat.
You're not allowed to have cigarettes even as a treat.
But we did eventually make it to Mr. D's in LaVerne. This location sports a polished chrome look. It makes it feel like one of the old dining cars the term diner actually originates from. I like this. It feels like a good synthesis of classic and modern aesthetics. When you enter Mr. D's, he makes sure to let you know that he's excited to serve you. This diner also boasts having the most amazing brownies for only $3.49. We checked their website before we left, and it seemed like they were most proud of their pies. You want to ensure that your preferred pie flavor is available? Well, they got a whole page dedicated to calling ahead. Now that we're here and they have this sign, with the most amazing brownies, and 0 advertisements for pie, and no pies in the display case? Now I don't know what to feel. The diner's inside is as retro as its outside, with a nice music selection of classic hits from the 50s to the 70s. And they also have a lovely outdoor dining section. But the real Mr. D experience is inside, with comedy legends Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball. Not only are they constantly looming over you, but you'll also find them greeting you on the cover of the menu. Mr. D's sports your classic shit ton of options menu. It takes up 10 full double column pages, and the items range from typical diner fare to unique pan skillets that are named after local cities and landmarks. This would be cute if it weren't for the fact that one of the cities is named Placentia. When you first open up the menu, you see Desi's here again, hiding in the background. That's weird, you think? And you turn the page again, and a cold weight sinks to the bottom of your stomach as you realize the truth. He's everywhere. He's peeking around your turkey bacon, lustfully eyeing your salmon salad. You think you've lost him behind the pastrami chili cheese fries. Soon enough, he's caught back up to you, leering between the meatloaf dinner and the ground sirloin steak like they're Venetian blinds. You cannot escape Desi Arnaz. Not at Mr. D's. This is his territory. You'll notice that the item labeled Mr. D's favorite does not have a check mark next to it, which indicates a house favorite item. I don't know if there's some kind of disagreement between the house and Mr. D himself on this one, but at the risk of fanning the flames, I figured I'd order it and weigh in on the controversy. Their burger selection is very promising, as they promote their half-pound burgers, which look pretty hefty. They come with your choice of fries, onion rings, salad, or their new tater tots! which we did not order. They also have a bottomless mimosas option, which is always a fun addition to the diner experience. We didn't partake in any drinks though, because it was time to get down to some serious business. The eating of the meal. I ordered a Kona Colombian blend coffee. It was stronger than I expected. Most diner coffee tends to run weak and bitter, so props to this one for actually tasting like coffee. According to Liv, the burger was pretty good. Not the tastiest burger in the world, but a solid eat. 7 happy lives out of a burger. The hash browns, on the other hand, were much grainier and mealier. These weren't your typical grated Tates. They were mushier, had too much potato skin left on. Thankfully, her meal also came with tomato bisque, and that was good enough to make up for everything else. The best tomato bisques are the ones that aren't pretending to be healthy, and thankfully, this one was full of butter and joy and good. It was probably the best thing we ordered that day. When I got my omelet, I was eager to jump right in and see if I agreed with Mr. D or the house. I was so eager, in fact, that I didn't notice the visible steam coming off of the plate, and I took a full bite before giving it a chance to cool down. You see that face? That's the face of someone who didn't think about how hot their food was. Great work, Anthony Bourdain. As I ate, I asked myself, should this be a house favorite or not? Mr. D's favorite is an omelet with gyro meat, fresh spinach, tomatoes, bell peppers, and onions, topped with feta cheese. Initially, I thought the house might have a point, but my first bite came from the edge of the omelet, which is mostly bell pepper. However, when I ate from the middle, it was a completely different experience. When you get a bite that has the gyro meat, and the tomatoes, and the bell peppers, and the eggs all together, the flavors just, your tongue just goes bananas. Well, it goes tomatoes. You get what I'm getting at? It goes onion ingredients, omelet ingredients. I think I'm gonna have to agree with Mr. D on this one. Don't get me wrong, I can see why it's a hot button issue. There's really only about 33% of the omelet right in the middle that works. That 33% makes for a really good and really unique diner specialty. We then, of course, had to order one of the most amazing brownies just to see what all the fuss was about. As it arrived, all our jokes of its signage ceased. We took our time with this one because, look at it.
It's like a wild stallion. But you can tame her. You can tame the beast.
Like with the omelet, the middle of the brownie is a different experience than the edge, although here both are delicious. It's like this one brownie combines all of the best parts of a middle piece and an edge piece from a brownie pan. Also, I don't know where they source their ice cream from, but it's fucking delicious. The only other place where I've had ice cream that tastes anything like this is the homemade ice cream we used to have at community fundraisers growing up. I know that doesn't sound like much, but if you were at a community fundraiser in Northwest Ohio in the mid-2000s, you know that's high praise. Let us know if you've had a similar ice cream experience. I'm honestly a little afraid that only like 12 people will know what I mean, and I want to know I'm not alone. While Mr. D filled us up pretty good, Liv and I are thorough researchers, and we knew we needed to squeeze the other Mr. D right into our schedule. So we immediately headed to the sister location in Placentia. We were determined nothing could stand in our way. No distractions.
T-Mobile!
Can't eat those.
Why not?
Because they don't have cigarettes.
They don't have cigarettes.
We absolutely did not immediately fall off course to get new outfits at Ross.
I like Ross.
Well, I like Ross too.
I like Ross. I like Ross.
I like Ross too.
I like Ross.
I'm not saying you don't. I like Ross too.
I like Ross.
I had fun at the store.
I like Ross.
I had fun. Okay, we did go do that. But then it was right straight on to the second Mr. D's location, and nothing could stop us. Except for one quick stop at a thrift store that was 10 miles out of the way. Liv and I are suckers for a good thrift store, so we searched around for one that we hadn't been to before. This is URM, or Union Rescue Mission Thrift and Boutique. Neither Liv nor I had heard of this place, but they did have a really good variety of stuff. You can see I immediately found a rhinestone vest, as well as some Duck Dynasty slippers. Now, I'm no die-hard ducky. I've never seen the show. But these slippers have informed me that this gentleman is Phil. And this one is also Phil. I can't help but feel a little sad for this bust of Ernie. He looks like he's patiently waiting for Bert to arrive. But Bert is not coming. Hopefully he can at least make friends with this Frankenstein cup trapped in a wad of tape. Or this ladybug trapped in a wad of tape. Or possibly this terrifying angel bobblehead who is mysteriously not trapped in a wad of tape. Perhaps they fear her power? Or perhaps she is simply too powerful to bind. There's really something interesting everywhere you turn at URM. You need a pillow with a pixelated image of a flower on it? URM's got you covered. Looking to expand your collection of King Tut sandals? Here they are for only $3 a pop, right underneath the glitter cowboy hats. And what's that over there? A washing machine from the 1980s? Oh, but hold up. Looks like this bad boy's sold. Look! Look! Cartoon characters. A soft, colorful cartoon character lives inside this carton. You know, I'm actually a huge fan of Crazy Cow and Plump. The real treasure here turned out to be their VHS collection. Being avid collectors, Liv and I both pulled about 10 tapes each. I'm very excited to look them over, and it's entirely possible that some of these might become future videos. Like these 4 vaguely labeled tapes. They were super cheap, and I couldn't help but want to find out what was on them. Oh, looks like it's time to leave URM with our VHS haul and get back to the D, Mr. D, in Placentia. Sure is great that those distractions didn't affect our schedule in any meaningful way. If you're wondering why the lighting has changed and why our outfits are different from here on out, that's because of COVID. This is 100% the same day as before. The Placentia Mr. D's. The most noticeable difference between the LaVerne Mr. D's and the Placentia one is the exterior. The first location had this classic chrome 50s diner car aesthetic, whereas the Placentia location feels more like a repurposed IHOP with the blue trim and the angled roof. I wasn't surprised to learn that this one was originally built as a Marie Callender's. And overall, I have to say that I like the LaVerne location's exteriors much better. Actually, I wonder what that was originally built as. Oh, okay, well, let's just... give me a sec here. I like this. It feels like a good synthesis of classic and modern aesthetics. Yeah, okay. While the outside of the Placentia location is pretty standard, the interior is much more interesting. They may not be egg-sided to serve you here, but you are greeted by Marilyn Monroe. And what's this? A case full of pies! They've actually got them here! Take a turn around the corner and you find one novelty booth that's dressed to look like a 1950s Chevy Bel Air. It's strange that a booth this fun wasn't taken when they weren't that busy. Our guess is that because it's the only one like that, they just don't let anyone sit there, out of fairness. We sat in this nearby booth under the watchful eye of Elvis Presley. You really can't go anywhere in these kinds of places without some old celebrity judging your every move. Is this what diners actually were like in the 50s, with just big pictures of thin current celebrities hanging out on the walls? In 70 years' time, are diners all going to be filled with huge paintings of Nicki Minaj and The Rock? The eating of the meal, part 2. This time we got mozzarella sticks because this Mr. D's had them on a happy hour menu. The mozzarella sticks changed dramatically over the course of the meal. When they first came out, the breading formed a hard shell around a liquid cheese center. It was an experience that Liv likened to the savory version of a Cadbury cream egg. However, as they cooled off, the breading softened and the cheese partially solidified, allowing them to work together better as one complete unit. This time for entrees, Liv got the beef eater, which is just a French dip sandwich. But in true American fashion, Mr. D ignores the French. We do have to dock them points, however, for using a French roll. Mr. D, that's a freedom roll. And au jus, I believe you mean O-U-S-A. America! Liv found the French roll to be a little too dry and flaky. Just a sad bread is the best way to describe it. And while the roast beef and the au jus were there, the cheese and onions really got lost in the bread, making it feel like you're mostly eating a bread and roast beef and sad bread witch. I had the salmon salad. What can I say? Desi convinced me. Just look at the way he's looking at it. He knows that salad has a secret, but he's not gonna tell. Oh, and by the way, he is still here, staring into your soul. The salmon salad has one of the check marks that Mr. D's favorite didn't, so maybe this can help me get a better understanding for the difference in criteria between Mr. D's favorites and the house's. After ordering, I can't say I'm a huge fan. It comes with these huge slices of tomato that are cut up in such a way that they look really pretty, but ultimately I just wish that the tomatoes were in bite-sized amounts inside the salad. I know it sounds silly, but there's something really disconcerting about having to cut up vegetables that are already in a salad. And I really like avocado, but I'm not sure it was really doing this particular salad any favors. The soft avocado texture just feels really out of place next to the sharper mixed greens. Liv wasn't too excited about my salad either. She felt that it had a lot to say, but that it was saying it all really quietly.
Oregano. Garlic sauce. Please.
However, we finally got to taste one of their pies, and I could see why they boast about them. This was a good fucking pie. It had a flaky, buttery crust that wasn't too thick, and it wasn't too thin. The cherries were tart, the filling was sweet, and they worked together just really well. Surprisingly, the ice cream here just didn't hit as hard as the ice cream at the LaVerne location. I don't know if the two locations sourced their ice cream differently, or if one was using a backup, or if Mr. D churns all the ice cream himself and just doesn't have time to go to both locations. But regardless, this just wasn't my community fundraiser ice cream. Overall, both Mr. D's locations have a really cute atmosphere, but atmosphere really only gets you so far. None of the food was bad, but none of it really went above and beyond either. I think the Cheesecake Factory style gigantic menu really works against a diner. The best diners are the ones that have like 4 items that they do really well. But Mr. D's has 10 full pages of menu items that are, by and large, fine. Liv and I both had trouble sorting through this menu, and I don't want to have to think too hard at a diner. I want to walk in and have to choose between, like, the eggs or the pancakes. Liv and I took all the points that we awarded throughout the show, and we plugged them into our highly complicated mathematical formula to determine whether or not Mr. D's is America's diner. And the final score is... Go to the LaVerne location and get the brownie a la mode out of 10. And with the last burger flipped and the final coffee poured, that's it for this episode of the Diner Things in Life. Thank you so much for tuning into our program today. If you like what we do here, be sure to let us know. Until the next crack in the case, I'm... Good night.